Riffs are too repetitive, the lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides and the cover art's a mess. There's so much here to tear apart. Listen to it for a week, now that week has passed. It's Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Garrett.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Why I Hate This Album. I am your host, Garrett Harvey. With me as always, co-host to the stars, Timothy Richardson. Tim, how you doing?
Doing great. This is a good one.
All right, I can tell you're excited. Why don't you tell the folks at home, what do we got for them this week?
This week, we will be discussing Linkin Park's debut album, Hybrid Theory, which was released October 24th, 2000.
That's right, millennials. We're going back to the start of it all, the heyday of nu metal.
Oh yeah, this is peak nu metal.
I can't say they redefined nu metal, but they certainly capitalized on it.
Yeah, this was described as a nu metal staple. I don't think there should be nu metal staples.
No, but I don't disagree with that statement.
Nope.
Tim, we danced around it long enough. We're almost an entire minute in. Do you hate this album?
I do.
Wow.
Yeah. I do not care for the music of Linkin Park. What about you? Do you hate this?
You know what, Tim? Every week, we pick an album, and it seems as though we're out to hate it. And that's not the case. We hope every week this is the album we love. And this week, Linkin Park Hybrid Theory is not that album. I do hate this album. And I'm going to say right up front, we might be wrong. I don't feel like I am. We've listened to this. I've listened to this album for a week straight. You've listened to this album for a week straight. I know it better than I know myself. Everyone else seems to love it. What does that mean?
Well, I would argue that they're wrong if you've listened to this album. But, you know, again, it's not the why this is a bad album podcast. It's the why I or why we hate this album podcast.
That's true.
That being said, I think this is a bad album.
It's not good.
No.
Right?
No, it's not. It's just not good.
Everyone disagrees.
Yeah, well, we'll change some hearts and minds.
Let's hope so. All right, so Tim, you're an adult man looking at this through the lens of years of experience in the real world, but when this came out, you were just a smooth-skinned babe, new to the world. Was this the soundtrack of your life?
It was not. I really don't have much of any history with this. I remember people liking this in high school, but again, I was sort of a shitty contrarian for no real reason, and that sort of, I think, saved me from a real Linkin Parkening, because I'm sure if I had really sat down and listened to this when I was 15, I would have really liked it. That being said, a lot of these songs did sound familiar, which makes sense, because this was this was the radio in 2000, 2001.
You're not wrong, and what's confusing to me about that is I only know one song. The best I can tell, I've only ever heard one song. So how is that possible? Because This thing was crazy popular. Is crazy popular. People love this fucking album. I'm in the same boat. I was in high school. Linkin Park was already pretty not cool. Now, then again, I grew up in what some would call kind of a quaint northern Texas town. So they also really enjoyed Texas country. So their musical tastes are not to be trusted either. But aside from one guy I knew that liked this album, I didn't know anything about it. I had pretty much already given up on the radio. I was more of a CD man. As I've mentioned before, if you don't have a CD, Tim, how can you time it just right so the proper Sublime track plays as you cruise into your high school parking lot?
Yes, or try to touch that young lady in the car.
Well, for that, you're going to need Smash Mouth.
Oh, yes, I apologize.
The most seductive of late 90s, early 2000s music. So neither of us have any personal history with it. We are newbies to the Linkin Park world. So these are fresh perspectives. I come with no baggage.
Yeah, you said that everyone loves this. I mean, on the internet, this is a thing that some people make fun of along with Nickelback and that kind of thing. So I know
they are right to.
I know there is a pretty strong hatred among some for this, but
I think that there's some hypocrites. Okay, so let's say the type of commercial success that we will get into later in the podcast, most people had to have liked this album. 80%. I would say 80% of society was on board. Is that too high?
We will get there because I do think it's too high. Some of the reviews seem to contradict that everyone was buying this, but
the sales numbers don't.
All will be explained in the reviews.
Fair enough.
Do you want to talk about the history?
How did these guys get started as a band?
Their backstory is pretty boring overall. There's no ponies, there's no apples that I could find.
It's terrifically uninspiring.
Right. This band was founded by a group of high school friends, which included Mike Shinoda, I think is how you say his name.
That's how I've been saying it.
He's one of the vocalists. It was in a suburb of LA, and they sort of got together right after graduation in the mid-90s. Do you know what other band attended the same high school as these guys?
Korn?
No, but that would...
It's always Korn.
That would be fitting. No, Hoobastank. Hoobastank at the same time.
I don't know that I could name a Hoobastank song.
Yeah, I couldn't either, but the name
But
really
guess what?
sticks out.
You know what though? You're going to be able to name all the Hoobastank songs.
My point is that high school should clearly be burned to the ground.
Right.
They were originally called Zero, and they began recording music in 1996. Then they snagged up Arizona vocalist Chester Bennington, who...
And that's where things really start to gel.
That's right. In 1999, he joined the band, and he would become the McCartney to Shinoda's Lennon.
Right. And so, for me, I delineate between the two when listening to the Linkin Park as your Shinoda is your rappist, and your Bennington is your whine, whisper, shout man.
Yes, he's a screamer and he's a whisperer.
Yeah, he'll scream and whisper you worse than a 1986 Steven Seagal VHS copy of a copy.
Also of note, kind of around this time, their bass player left briefly to tour with a punk/ska band named Tasty Snacks.
You know what? Better name.
I mean, I can't hear that without thinking of that It's Always Sunny episode.
Which one?
The one where they're on the boat and the boat people...
Oh, Tasty Treats.
Oh, Tasty Treats. I apologize.
Oh, you think we're the Tasty Treats? That's the implication.
They changed their name to Hybrid Theory and then Linkin Park, spelled like the president, as an homage or homage, as you like to say.
Didn't they name it after Linkin Park in Santa Monica?
They did. They named it. It was a homage to that park. It would later change it.
I don't know if it's a.
The internet was clear.
Okay.
Continue.
I
Lincolnpedia was clear.
Okay.
That park would later change its name as well, I think to distance itself from this mess, but whatever.
Yeah.
Finally, they changed their name to Linkin Park, spelled the way we all know and love, because that URL was available.
The same way you should make all artistic choices, what URL is available.
That's right. They recorded and released Hybrid Theory, the EP, in 1999, and then their debut album, this album, in 2000 on Warner Brothers Records, and I didn't do any other research into them. I don't know if you have anything else to add.
That's a hard stop.
Yeah.
Got a hard stop there. Very broad strokes. If you don't mind, Tim, I'm going to take it all the way up to the present.
Fair enough.
As Tim pointed out, they meet, they form a band. Eventually, they're successful. They create this masterpiece. From then on, they go on to produce, another 6+ albums, all of which are wildly successful. And by all measurement, they could not have done better. And then in 2017, Chester Bennington killed himself. And let's just say up top, suicide's an incredibly serious topic. We would never make fun of it on this show. It would be incredibly disrespectful to him and his family to do that. We like making jokes about music that the two of us don't particularly like. That's all this is. In fact, if you like Linkin Park and it has helped you to deal with something in your life, don't let two strangers on the internet make you feel bad about that. Probably all I need to say about it, right?
Yep.
Let's talk a little bit about the album in general. It is the diary of a sad and hurt young man laid bare.
Yeah, it seems like the Korn album for a number of reasons that we'll get into more in the specific songs, but it is a lot of poetry of somebody that has been abused and kind of wants to tell you about it, but is going to obscure that quite a bit.
Or may lack the ability to properly articulate it.
Could be.
I think some long-form poetry that he shared with a counselor and maybe a good friend, that would have been fine, but the lyrics in all of the songs are not good.
No, I agree with the lyrics. Well, not with the lyrics. I agree with your overall statement of the lyrics.
Assessment of the lyrics.
But to me, musically, with the alternating screamy, rappy parts, these songs all sound identical to me. I would argue that they sound so similar that almost had to be the goal. If you were attempting to play the same song, say Seven Nation Army or something like that, if you were going to play that 12 times in a row for me, you would end up with more variety just from occasionally messing up a chord. These songs sound identical.
Yeah, they're very similar. So let's identify a few of the key parts. You've got, obviously, your rapping. You have your shouting, as we mentioned. And then you also have, the best way I can describe it, if you're not super familiar with the album, is Bush-like guitar. Not as accomplished, not as clean, but just that kind of constant heavy metal droning rhythm guitar in the background that carries across almost the entire album. And then there's just different rapping and screaming over it.
Yes, but also don't forget about the record scratching.
Oh, okay.
I feel like you're leaving out a very important aspect.
How we could get this far into the album and not bring up the fact that this thing is lousy with record scratches. Their record scratches have record scratches have record scratches. It's record scratches all the way down.
Yeah, I mean, there is a song, and again, we'll get to this later, but there is a song that is essentially just record scratches.
It's my favorite song. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about nu metal. I had a bit of a personal realization. I never got on the nu metal train. I waited for the next one. Nu metal, to me, I think it's the wrong moniker. I think we need a new name, much as we learned about tropical house on the Bieber episode. Nu metal is a misnomer. I think we need a new term, something along the lines of therapy metal. And here's why I have the word therapy in there. This music is by and large geared towards young men who can't express their rage and frustration at the limitations of their age and size. Is that accurate?
I think so. Based on the lyrics alone, some of this seems to be written either for or possibly by a 2-year-old lying on his back, refusing to move, making his mom drag him as he has a temper tantrum at the mall.
There are definitely moments on this album that do sound like a musical version of an argument with your mother from a petulant child. I agree. Or conversely, lyrics that were written by a computer or artificial intelligence when fed several emo kids' personal diaries. But okay, so bringing my theory out to a slightly more macro scale, your Korns, your Limp Bizkits, your Rages Against the Machines, these are all basically high-energy rage vehicles for young men to take out aggression, correct?
I think so.
So I put to you, we need a new name. It's not nu metal. What are we talking about? Those bands don't even really sound a lot alike, aside from the fact that it's guitars plus something unpleasant.
Usually rapping.
Whether that be usually a version of rapping or phlegm scatting, or is something that I will be coining a new phrase, breathe boxing. in this. We have some beatboxing, but then we have some breathe boxing. We'll get there though. So, think about it. I don't feel like you're necessarily taking to my idea. That's okay. Fuck you.
No, I agree. I think that a lot of this would not work if our U.S. population did not include 12 to 17-year-olds. These albums would have sold 2 copies apiece.
Yeah, I feel like if they maybe had some way to work out the physical angst they're dealing with. Today's youth 2000s youth just didn't get out there and exercise like they used to. I blame the Xboxes.
The Xboxes and that pornography.
Well, nobody should ever blame pornography for anything. Would pornography ever do to you, Tim? Do not answer that question.
Oh, but I have... Okay, anyway.
I have such a bone to pick with pornography. Pornography? Consider yourself on notice.
I tried to come up with some nice things to say about this.
I've got some nice stuff. It's mostly in the song by song, but you go ahead.
Some overall nice stuff. 1, it's pretty short. That's
hey,
nice.
Man. Okay, so let me put it in a slightly more positive way. They don't spend any more time in a song than is absolutely necessary to call it a song. There's no extra 2 minutes of screaming the same word over and over and over.
Well, there is that, but it's it's within the confines of a 3 to 3.5 minute song.
And so you know what? If that's how you want to spend your time, pal, that's fine. I've signed up to listen. You've made the song. Let's do this. I took a different approach with this album because I sort of tried to view it from a Blink-182 perspective. They're not long songs. They're doing it what it is they do. Not really trying to be anything other than that. It's all kind of forgettable. Mm-hmm. It's a 37-minute album. How much could you possibly have to say about anything in 37 minutes, especially when half of the time you're screaming?
The whole thing's fairly boring. It's monotonous. I definitely have the lines, everything you say to me takes me one step closer to the edge and I'm about to break. That's never going to leave my head.
No.
I'm worried that despite how much I hate it, I might kind of love it. Just going to throw that out there.
The music?
The album. The album, the band, the music, the vocals, the lyrics, the whole thing.
You gotta be careful. You can't do things you enjoy while listening to this. You're going to make a weird association. At the risk of getting too detailed, we're probably standing on the doorstep of the song by song. You ready for this? Mm-hmm. Let's ring that doorbell. Track number 1, Papercut.
The intro drums on this song reminded me very much of Portugal the Man's Modern Jesus, and also kind of a Blur song 2 before the guitar kicks in. And then I was always disappointed whenever the rest of the music started.
Okay, so it's funny you focus on the drums. I focused on the synth strings keyboard. You know what I mean? Is that supposed to sound identical to the Exorcist theme?
It does a lot. I agree.
Right. Are we acknowledging that, or are we pretending this is an original composition?
I think we pretend it's original.
All right, we're going to Sublime.
There's not going to be much other good stuff on here, so yeah, well done.
Are you aware of the fact that the face inside is right beneath your skin?
Yes, so I know I've got a face in me, points out all my mistakes to me. You've got a face inside too. I was aware that I have a face inside of me, and then it's pretty close to the skin.
What?
Kind of seems like, though, that the face that he has inside of him, yes, that points out all his mistakes, that was like on vacation whenever they composed these lyrics, or I don't really understand.
I see that face might not have weighed in on this song.
Right.
I think that he's confusing paranoia and a conscience.
Frankly, though, I wish I had a face inside that pointed out all of my mistakes.
Yeah, no, you do lack a conscience.
Yeah, I just have a jackass with Garrett's voice assuring me that all my terrible ideas are spot on.
Keep going.
The lyrics overall, they read like someone who was writing poetry, but was like too embarrassed or self-conscious to commit to their ideas, and so there's nothing really meaningful being said.
Yeah, these are all very obvious and surface level feelings.
And we've also got a lot of Korn-like lyrics. For example, I feel the light betray me. Now, that's not quite as bad as Angel stabbing me on the inside, but even by 2000 nu metal standards, that should still be unacceptable, I think.
Yeah, but if you cut out all the lyrics on here, they're just kind of pithy and shitty. Be a lot of record scratches.
There's also the lyric that he whispers and watches everything. And I hate to keep whispering fucked me, but fucked me.
You have to stop.
I won't stop until it's not relevant anymore.
What album's that one?
That's Limp Bizkit. That's the J-Devil contributing to Limp Bizkit.
So, obviously you remember this song from the Jet Li soundtrack, The One. Do you remember this movie? Obviously
I do remember that movie. Don't remember this song.
Oh, well, it was featured in the end credits.
I might
as
have left
Jet Li
the
is
theater
fighting off
before.
all the other Jet Lis from the different dimensions.
Oh, that's
so that he
right.
Can become
whenever
the
he's
one.
King of Prison or something.
Yeah, an interdimensional. That's no prison. There's no prison.
It's a prison planet.
He's kind of on a prison dimension, isn't he? Yeah, you're right. I apologize.
I know that album or that movie quite well. Don't argue with me about it. It's so bad. We should watch that movie.
We're both terrible.
Yeah. I know I've got a face in me, points out all my mistakes to me. Genius annotation here. The demons inside of him attempt to deject him constantly by reminding him that he's a flawed man. And then there's a painting of a demon for some reason.
What?
Those seem like good demons to have, all things considered, right?
Yes, again, it's a conscience.
How does the title of this song relate to the lyrics? Do you understand?
No.
Okay.
I really have no idea. I can't tie it to any other... So the general theme is that he's got this face in him.
Yes.
And it's judging him. May or may not be his conscience. And he doesn't like it, and it's making him paranoid.
Yeah, so Papercut.
Yeah, I don't know. So Papercut.
Right,
yeah.
right.
Okay, and you know what? I get it. All right, you ready to move on?
I am.
All right, track number 2, One Step Closer.
This is just a Korn song.
It is very Korn-like. It is the first single they ever released. Of course, you remember it from the soundtrack to the 2000 film Dracula 2000.
I do.
It played during the...
During the closing credits, yes. I know.
Oh my God! You just watched every bad movie between 1998 and now.
So whenever I find out that a song is in a movie, I also get those movies and watch them in full.
Even though there's no chance we'll ever actually discuss the content of the film.
I am not concerned with that. I'm concerned.
You want to understand how
done...
the song fits in the context of the movie.
Not really. I just want to be able to say that I've done my homework.
Okay, well that is definitely emblematic of a certain type of compulsive disorder.
This is one of their biggest hits. It's played at every live show.
Had you ever heard it?
I feel like I have. No, you know what? I definitely had.
The chorus and first verse of the lyrics, penned by Chester Bennington's exasperation at handing the producer of this album previous lyrics over and over again, only to have him say, Jesus Christ, no, please do it again. How are they still writing lyrics? This is a half a decade's worth of work in the making. The start of this song, I should have pointed it out in the beginning, is curiously similar to No Doubt's I'm Just a Girl. It's just like
I didn't hear that.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's very bouncy.
Damn it, now I have to go back and listen to this song.
Yeah, it is quite similar. Can we talk about the lyrics a little bit?
Yeah, I've got some notes.
Yeah. So this song features the screaming of "shut up when I'm talking to you" over and over as the quote-unquote bridge of the song.
That's right.
That is not a bridge. Much of this album sounds like an argument of a petulant child with a parent. In this in particular, screaming "shut up when I'm talking to you" reminded me of a friend of mine named David. I stayed over at his house one night, and did you ever do like where you stay over at a friend's house and they do something that is so weird or behave around their parents in a way that like, oh, apparently you guys don't have the threat of death in this house? Because he started screaming at his mother, and I believe part of it was "shut up when I'm talking to you." But what made it all so great was that his parents were from Iran.
Oh.
And so his mother and him are screaming back and forth in a mix of English and Persian. And I'm trying to figure out, like, did I do something? Like, what? And, like, all I could make out in the entire melee was that if we didn't clean up something, she was going to take away NBA Jam.
Oh, no. I hope you cleaned up immediately.
NBA Jam.
So, okay, this is a genius overall song explanation. I implied, I assume he meant to say inferred, but I implied that it was a teacher talking to an extremely annoying student and has gone insane. Hence, shut up, shut up, shut up, I'm about to break. So this person has turned it around on us. This person doesn't think it's the child screaming shut up when I'm talking to you. This person thinks it's the adult screaming at the children.
Well, it's a weirdly specific scenario. It would be as though the anecdote that I just told, if I had said, I think this song is about the time when. That's essentially what this jackass has done. Hey, this one time I drove a teacher insane, and I think this song's about it. So you know what? You said he probably meant inferred. I think he meant implied. He is implying that story
fair.
that point idiot on the internet. Idiots 4, Tim 0.
That's true.
All right, boy, we're tearing through these. Let's go to track number 3, With You. I had a real revelation on this track. I don't look up information about the band before I listen to it. I tend to listen to it a few times beforehand, kind of get a sense for it. I don't want it to change my impression of the music. Sometimes I know something about the band, so I have some frame of reference, but because I knew nothing about this band, I was going in blind. About the third or fourth time I got through this album, I realized there's more than one person singing on this.
They do actually, their two voices go together fairly well.
They do, however, I guess one of those voices is screaming, though. Or whispering.
Oh, yeah, fucked me.
No, he's not whispering that. He's not whispering that. You know what, Tim? That was for one episode.
I like it, though.
I know you do. but I don't. Because we have the explicit tag does not mean we have to use it.
Yeah, but you encouraged me earlier. Chester is just J-deviling on this, though. He even goes as far as to say the word me as may.
He does say me as may, and
Fuck
I know that's a huge sticking point.
Oh, God, I hate it. I hate it so much.
That's so odd. Well, that's kind of something that we haven't pointed out on this at all. And if you look at the lyrics and the songwriting, there is not a lot of, what's the right word, symmetry and balance to the lyrics. It is very obvious that they had a general idea for what they wanted each song to be, but then when they couldn't connect the different parts, they would literally just add like a full sentence in the middle of a chorus, or no, I'm sorry, in the middle of a verse that tries to connect the two sentiments, but it comes off so clunky.
Yeah, those sentences are usually the ones that are sort of pseudo-rapped by Shinoda in sort of in between the screaming.
Right,
yeah.
Exactly.
Can I read you a couple lyrics here?
Oh, please.
It's true, the way I feel was promised by your face. This lyric, honestly, kept me up at night. What does it mean?
Well, I love that that's what you wrote down. Let me continue, because I wrote down the second half. As Tim stated, quote, was promised by your face, the sound of your voice, painted on my memories. Even if you're not with me, I'm with you.
Oh, I wrote that down later, too.
What is this song about?
I don't know.
It is alarming.
But I just want to point out that there are faces inside of people. There are faces making promises. I'm not sure any of these faces are metaphorical.
You don't think he thought he had a physical face trapped in him, did you?
I do. Have you ever really been strung out on drugs?
Really strung out?
Yeah. Like,
no.
Days Bender.
No.
Okay. Yeah, you think there's faces inside of you.
Yeah, that seems fair.
Another lyric here. When things go wrong, I pretend the past isn't real.
That's a little on the nose.
I didn't realize that was even an option.
You can totally rebuild your own history as long as you're willing to lie to yourself convincingly enough. I call it the morning ritual. You just erase everything that happened the day before and start fresh. I like to think of my life as somewhat of a Groundhog Day scenario.
Oh, it is
where
not.
There's very little consequences day to day.
No, there's so many dead people in your wake.
Dead groundhogs, Tim.
Again, though.
Tim, tell me, how do you feel about the record scratch breakdown in the middle of the song?
You know me, I tend to love record scratches in general.
Right. I venture to say that this is the first record scratch solo we have encountered.
It is. It absolutely is, but it will not be the last before the day is over.
No, that's for sure.
Oh my God.
Once again, I did muse to myself with this song. Were these lyrics written by a time-traveling artificial intelligence?
No.
Okay.
Just want to clear that up right away. This is a man who believes he has faces inside of him. He is not a time traveler.
I don't think he is.
Oh.
That could be some sort of suit.
No, the suits weren't fans originally until it started selling well.
Oh, no. See, you're confusing the term suits from the common parlance to mean a businessman or the man. I am referring to a skin-like substance worn over the outer shell to a mechanized artificial intelligence that may or may not have time traveled here for the purposes of becoming a rap rock star.
It's not that.
Oh, okay. I'm going to give a compliment to Mr. Bennington here that is a bit unconventional. I am utterly shocked at his ability to scream as a profession. I get hoarse when I speak loudly at a concert.
That's true. He has a Vaden Todd Lewis of the Toadies ability to do this for a decade or more.
I like to believe he has an inner ear thing, so he's either always whispering or screaming. I'd like to order a pizza with lots of pepperoni! Moving right along then, track number 4, Points of Authority. This is the song that opens with breathboxing.
It sure does.
If anybody's not 100% clear already with what I'm talking about, at first I thought it was humming, but it's not humming. It is a man that, we all know what beatboxing is. I'm not going to bore everyone with my excellent beatboxing skills, but what I will do is I will give you a small demonstration of breathboxing. That is replacing all of the typical mouth noises with heavy breathing. Example. That isn't pleasant.
No, it wasn't. Sure wasn't.
Yeah, that's not how you start a song. And he does it again at the end. It's a little closer to a hum.
Yeah, you want your songs, maybe this is the point where they learn these songs should have some sort of symmetry.
I don't think that's what's going on.
No, they need to fill some space. It's only 37 minutes long, but that's a long time.
Yeah, it's a sparse 37 minutes.
Yeah. So
we introduced a new segment here on the show last week.
Oh, yes.
And to be perfectly honest, Tim, this motherfucker stole my bit. So the new segment is what I like to call Would This Be Better as a Cake Song? That is, of course, where we pick lyrics from the week's album and we apply the cake model and see if the lyrics would in fact sound better if they were delivered in the typical sing-speak that is cake. Well, unfortunately, the start of this song is the guy sing-speaking, even using like the cake filter where it kind of sounds like he's on the telephone.
Yeah.
Or through a loudspeaker.
Yep.
He stole my bit. Tim, I was so excited. He stole my bit. It's not even really worth me doing again. Just go listen to this song.
Yeah.
It opens as a cake song.
Some lyrics. Forfeit the game before somebody else takes you out of the frame and puts your name to shame. This song may refer to the corrupt government, especially the one who is in control, which is the president. The introduction is spoken by him, which can be related to the citizens that want to exploit their dark ideas or start a movement against them.
No, it isn't. It's about child abuse. It's clearly about child abuse.
Yeah,
he has stated it's about child abuse.
Yeah, and it's very...
Let me be clear. At least, and I can't speak for all of Linkin Park's work. I will at some point. But today I've only heard the first album. There is no hidden meaning to anything.
No.
It's all right there. This album is all sleeves. They're just wearing it on their sleeves. That shirt has no front at all. It's just all sleeves. Apparently, Shinoda was praised by his bandmate Delson for his Trent Reznor-like talent on this song. And I would agree with that. This is the exact same level of talent exhibited by Trent Reznor. That brings us to track number 5, Tim. Crawling. Second single from the album, and this one is special. Do you know why this one's a little special, Tim? There's something unique about this song. There's practically no raps.
That's true.
It is almost an entirely all Chester Benningfield focused song.
Bennington.
Whatever.
I like Benningfield, though. Sounds slightly fancier. So some genius comments on this. First of all, my life. Except that I don't use drugs. But the song, it suits me so much. All right.
Oh, okay. This song is 100% top to bottom about drugs.
Yes.
If this guy is just like the song, minus the drugs part,
he is nothing like the song.
Then he is connecting to the gentleman in this song on the grounds that they are both humans living on Earth breathing air.
And now some weird ones. So here is another genius comment about the vocal delivery, about the song in general. So cool and beautiful, like a porno. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
This man's never seen a porno that's not cool and beautiful. Wait, I've never seen a porno that is cool and beautiful.
That's right.
What does that mean?
Well, okay, let me jump to the next one, because I think that it will help
I doubt
illuminate. Chester's voice is the sweetest orgasm. Now, okay. Hold on. Before you comment on that, crawling in my skin, these wounds they will not heal, confusing what is real.
Right.
That's what most of my orgasms are like.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. What do your orgasms sound like? Because mine is very similar. First of all, always accompanied by a scream.
Yes, but never like in a good way.
That's just because you don't understand what's happening.
Yeah, I am usually freaking out.
Tim, just settle down. It is a wonder you can find love. So let me go back for a moment. His voice is so, I'm sorry, what was it? Clean?
Chester's voice is the sweetest orgasm.
No, not that one. Gross.
Oh, so cool and beautiful, like a porno.
Okay, I'm going to use a series of words to describe pornography. And I want you to say yes if it is an accurate way to describe pornography, and no if it is not.
Okay, I can do that.
Okay. Free.
Yes.
Online.
Yes.
Kind of gross.
No.
I'm gonna throw some tougher ones at you. Erotic.
Yes.
Involving at least one woman.
Yes. Wait, that one surprised me, huh? Way to go, Tim.
And now I know you are not being honest. Just a few more, Tim. Stay with me. Cool.
Yes.
No one has ever said, hey man, have you seen this such and such porn? It's really cool.
I don't know, maybe there are like a lot of special effects. It doesn't matter. It's not.
There's not. There's not. What do you mean special effects? We are doing a podcast about music. Do not pitch me on some CGI pornography. God damn it.
But anyway, so not only is pornography both cool and beautiful, but it is also like this song and like Chester Bennington's voice.
Right. Glad we got that cleared up.
All right.
This is weird. This is a very specific reference, so I understand if you don't get it. The opening to this song has kind of a strings sort of a deal before it turns to shit.
Yeah.
It reminds me so much of the Bourne song that plays at the end of every single Bourne movie. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. It's a Moby song, if anybody gives a shit. I didn't. Can I take a small detour here? Because I know we need to keep going, but
sure.
While we're on the topic, guys, we have not heard from Moby in weeks.
Yes, it has been 7 episodes. Where's Moby?
We put the flyer out there. We sent up the flare. Nothing. Haven't heard word one. Moby, if you're out there and you're busy, I get it. But somebody, let us know. Is Moby alive?
Yes. Have you seen Moby? Email us.
Just reach out. HatePodMail@gmail.com. Moby, we're worried about you, buddy. Number 6.
Runaway.
Boy, I don't even know where to start with this one.
The official Chester explanation of this song, this is going to sound remarkably similar to your childhood. I was a geek who thought I was cool. I didn't hang out with a particular clique, but with different people from different cliques. I was never invited to parties as a teenager. I turned up with the popular people. That's where the lyrics to Guilty by Association come from. That's not a kid that's not cool.
Right. Let me give you a scenario. Obviously, this never happened to me because if you aren't popular, what happens, I've heard, is that you show up, and then as they let in their friends, they tell you, sorry, we can only have 10 people over. And despite the fact that you just saw 20 people enter, they turn you away.
Oh, like a fire code thing? Like the fire marshal's on their ass?
Well, no. It's usually more of my parents said I could have 10 people over. Oh. It's just too big, you understand.
Yeah, they don't want you. They didn't ever want you.
You must have faced a ton of rejection as a child. You must understand this.
No, it's actually more as an adult. Most people sort of blossom as I've sort of involuted as I have become an adult. Yeah,
that's not a word, is it?
It is.
You've socially imploded.
Involute.
Involute? Mm-hmm. Invalid?
No. Okay.
You're making up words. I'm making up words. What are we doing?
Neither one of us made up a word.
Anyway, I've got some lyrics for you. I'll just read them and we'll start there. I want to run away. Never say goodbye. I want to know the truth instead of wondering why. I want to know the answers. No more lies. I want to shut the door and open up my mind.
Yeah, I get it.
Have you ever met an adult that has threatened to run away?
Not seriously.
Of course. Wait. The answer is no. But despite that fact, this song was written when the two lyricists were 22 and 23. What do you mean run away, fellas? You're adults. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You're going to run away from adulthood?
Ooh. I didn't know that was an option either. It's just pretend like the past never happened, and I'm going to run away from adulthood.
I'm trying, buddy. Let me tell you, it doesn't end great.
You are trying.
Rude.
Well, get a job and I'll stop saying it.
I will not. You ready to move on?
Yes. Song number 7, By Myself. I don't really have anything to say about this song itself, other than I need them to stop screaming constantly.
So track 7, infamously, is where the chaff typically begins for us. These are filler songs. It's not much different here. I think this is like chicken soup for the teen who no one sits with me at lunch.
But he was hanging out with the popular kids, apparently, right?
Right.
Okay.
Because he was a huge nerd. But I don't really want to waste any time on this.
I have something of interest, sort of, because we often wonder on this show about the people that are posting on the Genius lyrics. Are they serious about this? Who are these people? Because whoever wrote the lyrics on this might have messed up the line, if I'm killed by the questions like a cancer. Okay, because somebody responded to this with, it's your cancer in the lyrics. This is a major mistake. I took this for a serious site, where people would sometimes listen to the real glory of lyrics and discuss them, where people would sit and explain the within to later ages, so that humanity, if it by any means should get dumber and dumber over the decades or centuries, would still be able to comprehend their meanings, might even teach them how to think on a higher level. And then it's got an asterisk and then in parentheses, choking on today's lyrics. I don't know what that means.
Oh my God. That guy's annotation had footnotes. So this guy had a few clues in his review. First of all, the use of the word glory is interesting. That tends to only happen with religious zealots. So I'm going to guess that he's super into Jesus and potentially has a concern that the rapture is coming. However, he does seem to think we're going to make it long enough that we all become some sort of Wall-E civilization.
Yes.
And can't understand the complexities of Linkin Park.
So maybe this is a time traveler.
Well, I put to you, perhaps it is the same time traveler, leaving clues for you and I to solve the riddle. We are in the middle of a national treasure situation mixed with Back to the Future.
National Future. I'm in.
That's right. Let's watch Back to the Future after this. Anything else you want to say about By Myself?
God, no.
We are 3/4 of the way there. Let's finish strong. Track number 8, In the End.
Their good song. I assume this is the song that you'd heard before?
Yes,
No.
I knew this song.
I will say, on a positive note for this song, I kind of like the intro piano line.
I will go one step further. The piano in this song is great.
Yes.
It made me a little sad because there's some talent in here somewhere.
Definitely.
But I have not seen it anywhere but on the piano. Perhaps an all-piano album is in order.
We should check if that exists.
Yeah, we should. Might be great. So I know a lot about this song, and all of it is enraging. Did you know that this song is Billboard's second most played rock song of the decade? Of the decade. Apparently, Chester Bennington initially did not care for this song and did not include it on the album. What is this song about, Tim?
I can tell you what Genius Annotations thinks it's
Well,
about.
before you delve into those deep thinkers, I think it is about nihilism.
Ooh, okay. Let me stop you right there. You might either be a genius annotator or have the approximate IQ of one. The chorus evokes existential nihilism, which posits that personal accomplishments and even life itself are without inherent meaning. Chester's specific loss is about wasting time trying to build a relationship with a woman who didn't want him. Well done.
That guy nailed it. This song seems to be about just never trying.
Several of their songs kind of have that.
So I have got a fact about this that speaks to the level of merchandising possible in a pre-9/11 world. Did you know they created a DVD for the single?
What was on it?
Wow, I'm glad you asked. On the DVD, of course, a music video of In the End was available. Also, an audio version was also available. Then, in addition, you got the Crawling music video, and 4 30-second interviews with the band for a total of 9 minutes and 12 seconds. Tim, you can own this bad boy for as little as $2.10 today.
I assume you've already bought me a copy.
No, but I will say that the last known purchased copy was on February 21st, and it cost some poor bastard $9.85.
Ooh, that's a steal.
It is not, considering the average cost is $4.
Oh, I meant the current price. Sorry.
Oh, well, yes. We like to ask an important question on this show, Tim. Does Lena Dunham approve? As the arbiter of all things socially responsible, we like to look to her to understand whether or not this art, this piece of culture, fits in and is capable of conforming to the modern day standards of gender equality. So, Tim, what is your impression? Would Lena Dunham approve of this album?
You know, I really don't think she would disapprove. I can't think of anything on this that is specifically patriarchy heavy or that promotes rape culture.
I think she would approve, and this song in particular is kind of how I got there, because I know I'm not super familiar with the hit HBO show Girls, but from what I can tell, it's about the frivolousness of early 20s relationships. Is that about right?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
But in a gender-positive way.
That sheds normative standards of toxic masculinity.
This is socially responsible irresponsible television.
So in this song, he is primarily singing about the hardships of misbegotten love. I feel as though this song could potentially be the girls' theme song. I don't know if they have one. I don't know who to speak to about this. I think Judd Apatow is involved in some way. I could talk to Kylo Ren. I don't know him, but I at least know he's on the show.
Yeah, and we know he's a listener, a fan of our show.
That's true.
So
listener of the show, Kylo Ren. We should really learn his name.
Adam Driver, I believe.
Adam Driver. But Adam, thanks for listening. Reach out, see if Leans is interested in getting this baby hooked up as the star.
She does not care, first of all, for people giving her nicknames she has not pre-approved. That is belittling to her. Intergender.
Well, you know what? I apologize. It's just my privilege was kicking in.
It was. But you checked your privilege, so we're all good.
All right. You ready to move on, Tim?
Yes. Song number 9, A Place for My Head.
Sits in the sky on a dark night, shining with the light from the sun. The sun doesn't give light to the moon.
I liked the acoustic guitar that opens this song. It sounded good.
Yeah,
it made
it's
me
not
wonder
bad.
why we couldn't
It's
do
different,
more of that.
at least.
I think this is secretly a Sublime song.
Yeah.
I want to be in the energy, not with the enemy. A place for my head.
See, that to me, that sounds a lot like 311, like the vocal delivery.
Oh, you're 100%
with the
right.
Energy, not with the enemy. Yeah, I think so.
No, you're 100% right. This is, once again, another argument with his mother. So let's deconstruct some lyrics, if you don't mind. And you know what? I'm starting to think I might be one of these genius lyric assholes. Honestly, what it is, I just got super bored in these songs, so I started creating stories. I think it's about a young man that wants to move out of his mother's house after a brutal divorce and live with his dad. Unfortunately, his dad, let's call him Phil, has started a new family in Washington and does not want the boy to move there. Does that sound...
I think that sounds perfectly correct.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
That's what this song's about.
And let me give you some lyrics to back it up. I want to be in another place. Pretty obvious. And then how it's his mom's fault. You used to be calm, used to be generous, but you should have known that you'd wear out your welcome. Now you see how quiet it is all alone. Powerful stuff. You drove dad away. And then he whisper whines like a little kid trying to stop crying. Like the...
Yeah. Can I read to you some lyrics here and then the genius annotation?
You better.
I watch how the moon sits in the sky in the dark night, shining with the light from the sun. The sun doesn't give light to the moon, assuming that the moon's gonna owe it one. Okay? This is
I would argue among the best lyrics in the entire album.
Okay, well, they're going to ruin that for you.
It at least sort of sounds like a song.
Yeah,
okay, continue. Sorry.
It's a metaphor.
Doubt it.
Okay, well, here's the genius lyrics. This is a metaphor. He feels the sun and moon operate the same way they always do, without feeling like they're doing each other special favors. Kind of like those people who do nice things so that they can manipulate you into doing something for them later. Someone buys you lunch at the office out of nowhere, and then they're like, oh, I bought you lunch. Now you have to miss your wife's birthday so I can have a day off. Again, seems awfully specific.
I think that above the need for healthcare in America, and I think there's a huge need, let's start with therapy. I'm not saying we have to get a bunch of doctors, but perhaps we could get a training course together and get some licensed counselors. I am seeing people crying out in the genius lyrics, which is essentially like screaming into the void of space, because the only people that hear it are you and I, and we're mocking these people. But it is so sad. This gentleman missed his wife's birthday because he took a free tuna salad sandwich. He doesn't even like mayo, Tim.
Track 10, Forgotten.
This fuck is this about?
Okay, well, let me tell you exactly what it's about. This is a song about trying to remember a dream you once had. It's not a song about a dream. It's a song about being kind of frustrated you can't quite remember the full dream.
Okay, hold on. First of all, that's according to who?
Linkinpedia.
What is Linkinpedia?
It is the Wikipedia specifically for Linkin Park.
I missed a heavy resource for my research for this. I had to get one-on-one interviews with these assholes. You just read Linkinpedia.
That's right. They did it for me.
So that's actually pretty comforting, because my interpretation was the entire song is about a memory that he cannot remember but knows is there.
Yeah, that's about the same.
You know what, Tim? Indulge me for just a moment. It doesn't fit here, but for whatever reason, I think he says darkness in this song.
The darkness holding me tightly.
Right. This is so ham-fisted, and I apologize, but it's my honest-to-God reaction. For whatever reason, when I heard that lyric, I could not stop thinking of Bane. And what's ridiculous is I
no
don't even
bit.
think...
You singing the lyrics in a Bane voice.
Exactly. That's exactly where all of this is headed.
Oh, I apologize.
But I don't know any of the lyrics. Oh, no, I do. Let me... Quick warm-up. I was raised in the shadows. In the memory you will find me. Eyes burning up, the darkness holding me tightly until the sun rises up. When
better
the darkness
album.
lets go, you have my permission to die.
Much better album.
Bane does Linkin Park. Mr. Hardy, I know you're a listener. Reach out to the show. HatePodMail@gmail.com. I know you don't like to give us your email. There was the incident. I promise Tim's not going to have access to it again. There will be no more additional pictures. Super sorry about that.
I thought
But let's
he'd
make
like
this
to
happen,
see.
guys. I know. I
Also,
know.
did you catch somebody in the background of the first verse just going hoo-ha in the
I did
background? It's very strange. It's kind of a yee-haw moment in the background that's just unexplained.
If there was an uncredited Howard Dean yeehaw in here. So there's a breakdown in the middle of this song that seems to heavily feature the beeping noise often associated with a truck backing up. I don't know if you caught that. It's an odd choice to sample.
Yeah. Well, at least a sample as, like, the primary instrument.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so aside from loving the fact that I kept picturing Bane singing this entire song, I could give no less of a fuck about it.
I agree.
All right, let's move on to track number 11, my favorite song on the album, Cure for the Itch.
In this song, we get the introduction of the turntable guy, Mr.
I found him referenced repeatedly as a turntablist.
Ooh, I like it.
Turntablist. Now, granted, I only saw it written, so I don't know how to pronounce it. It is either turntablist, which doesn't seem right. I feel like I'm adding syllables, so it's almost certainly turntablist. Yeah, so what's his name?
Mr. Han!
Got a pot in your band for my brother. It's huge.
This is their equivalent to like a widespread panic type jam, I guess. But
yeah, I don't know. I think that the studio probably said it needs to be 12 songs long.
I kind of like the random piano again in the background of this. It's not really doing very much. It's just it sounds like somebody dicking around on a piano, but at least it's an instrument and it's something that I can hold on to.
There's no heavy guitar. There's no raps. There's no words really aside from Mr. Han. I love this song. Just make this. I'll listen to this while I go to sleep or while I'm like working. It's nice.
Is this
just
song
a bunch of bleeps and blorps?
Is this song called Cure for the Itch because it's just a bunch of scratching?
Oh, maybe.
Is that's
clever, I guess.
Puns are fun.
I assumed that they were just dying to make a hip-hop album.
Yeah.
I may listen to this song again just for fun. That's a lie.
Now I have
That's a
to
lie.
listen
I
to
can't.
the Bane song a bunch.
Oh, yeah. I want to do the whole song as Bane.
Listeners, on the website, we promise you there will be a video of Garrett Harvey doing this entire song. And you know what? I apologize. Doing this entire album using only a Bane voice.
I'm not going to do that.
And there's no music. It's just...
No. I have things to do.
Yeah. You have Baning to do.
I mean, is there anything to say about this song?
Not really.
No, there's no singing. It's great. It's like 2.5 minutes. I love it. That brings us to the last song on the entire album. 34 minutes in. Can barely stand it anymore. Track number 12, Pushing Me Away.
This song has a real Limp Bizkit-y feel to it, and I was so depressed that I can now accurately make that comparison.
This song felt like it was from the perspective of a downtrodden boyfriend who has a girlfriend who likes to get drunk and then threaten other men using her boyfriend. My boyfriend will kick your ass. I recently had to deal with this. That's why I was thinking of it.
Wait.
I was standing in line for South by trying to get in to see a show, and this gaggle of whores just cut in front of us. To which I replied, "Excuse me, we're not going to just cut in front of people," and got back in front of them. From behind I hear, "Talk about sexual harassment. Seriously, my boyfriend will kick your ass." And I turned around to see her boyfriend standing behind her, essentially just giving me the, like, fingers across the throat. Nah, we're good. I didn't want to cut in front of you. She's horrible. But that's what this song is about. Your testing me pushes me away. Anything else, Tim?
I know.
Jesus.
I just want this to be over.
After the joy of track number 11, I always hit track 12 like a fucking speed bump you weren't looking for. It fucks everything up for me because it's so back to the core of what is Linkin Park.
Yes.
That I saw it merely as something to get through.
Yeah. Track 11 is the one break from the exact same song over and over and over again. And then they just wanted to remind you, no, we can still do it. Can we be done with this?
Yeah, we can be done with this.
Awesome.
All right, Tim. Obviously, we didn't love the album. I think we've probably alluded to it. It didn't do poorly.
No,
Sweet
it
Jesus,
sure
it didn't do poorly.
Yeah.
As we all know, I like to listen before I do my research. I assumed, based on the length of the album and the fact that I knew only one song, that Linkin Park was a flash in the pan, marginally successful, new metal, or new therapy, as it's often called, band. Boy therapy? No. Teen therapy? A teen therapy band.
Yes.
Teen therapy.
Teen therapy. There it is.
Yes, a teen therapy band, if you will. No, none of that's true.
Yeah, this seems to
true.
me, if I would have had to predict how well this would have sold, I would have say generously 2 million copies.
Wow, you'd have been way off.
Yes. This peaked at number 2 on the Billboard 200. New Zealand was actually the only country that it was ever a number 1 record in. On the ever-influential Dutch mega charts, it only reached number 13. So this isn't...
on the Dutch mega charts, only number 13?
Yeah, so that's not a great start, right?
You have to stop referencing the Dutch.
So it was in the top 10 on the Billboard 200s for 34 weeks, and it was on the charts for 151 weeks. So this was charting for 3 years. And then
11 million copies in the US.
Yes.
Certified diamond.
Yep, certified
30 million
diamond.
copies worldwide. There's
was-
some unique things that this album accomplished.
Right. So this was the best-selling album of 2001. It was also the best-selling debut album of the 21st century.
It took the throne overall from Guns N' Roses.
Only 4 albums that were released in the 21st century have sold more copies than this. There was Eminem's Marshall Mathers, The Beatles' 1, Adele's 21, and then Eminem's The Eminem Show. So this was number 5 of albums released in the 21st century all-time sales charts. Do you know what number 6 was?
No.
Number 6 was their second album, Meteora.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
They made so much money. I mean, good job, guys.
Wikipedia references them repeatedly as the best-selling band of the 21st century, and I couldn't find definite confirmation of that. But based on 2 albums, they're close enough.
I would believe it. Some other just ridiculous statistics. Ranked number 11 on Billboard's Hot 200 albums of the decade. At the 2002 Grammys, it was nominated for Best Rock Album. Unfortunately, it was in fact beaten by All You Can't Leave Behind by U2. If you don't know what that album is, that is the one that brought us both Elevation, where Bono repeatedly goes, "Woo-hoo." If you don't know that song, strap in, that's coming down the road. And then the other one that came from it was Beautiful Day. Both singles that you need to miss by U2.
Crawling won a Grammy. The song that sounds of orgasms and beautiful and cool pornography. Grammy-worthy.
I guess. It couldn't have done better and was an arbiter for things to come for this band. They are success machines. What was the critical reception
It was generally pretty positive.
Of course it was.
Let me read a couple of quotes here. Far more complex and talented group than the hard rock boy bands of late.
What's a hard rock boy band?
I don't know.
Maybe it's a
I think
typo.
it's like
Maybe she meant rock hard boy band.
She did not. The album was described as destructive and angry, but always with a well-controlled melodic feeling all over.
I would argue that the one thing consistently lacking in this album is melody.
It's pretty melodic.
Fuck you. And fuck your melodies. Let me introduce the Robert Christgau game. Famed rock critic and insane person, Robert Christgau has been in the business writing for every major publication for the last 50 years. Unfortunately, when you read his reviews of albums, it is just as likely that you come away wondering if it was a recipe for a souffle as you do wondering whether or not he even liked it. So, in the Robert Christgau game, Tim takes the review, reads it to me, and then I have to discern if there is a letter grade available, I assign it a grade, and if not available, I have to tell you, the listener, whether or not Robert Christgau enjoyed the album based on the review that is given. Does that sound about right?
That's right. This one is a star system. So
Okay.
we've got either 1 to 5 stars or a little bomb icon. The Robert Christgau review for this album. The men don't know what the angry boys understand. Then he recommends Points of Authority and Papercut. The men don't know what the angry boys understand.
I have a gut instinct response here.
Go with your gut.
You think?
I think
it's
so.
bold. I'm going to give you two answers. My official answer and my educated answer. The gut answer, the one I'm going with, Tim, is 5 stars. I don't think that's right. I think the smart answer is a 4.5 situation. But Tim, what did Robert Christgau give this album?
2 stars.
Oh,
yeah, way off.
Oof, rare miss. Rare miss. That, you know what, Tim? I'm playing it off, but
it hurts,
you can see the tears. You can see the tears.
Yeah.
Are we ready for some Amazon reviews?
Yeah. Overall, this album has 2,102 reviews on Amazon.
You had a busy week.
I did not read all of them. It's got a 4.5 star average, and 83% of the reviews are 4 to 5 stars. Review the first. Linkin Park from the very beginning. If you're a Linkin Park fan, then you must have this in your collection. Listen to them from the very beginning and hear how they got their start. This was inducted into the Hall of Fame and has #1 rock band. The name of this city is extremely symbolic, as it used to be the band's name. They named this in honor of who they used to be. Once Chester Bennington and Jay-Z entered the band, they decided to change their name to Linkin Park. You can hear them and read how they got their start. Their music and rap is very enticing and draws you in from the very beginning. You can't get them out of your head. This is a must-have for anyone who follows/loves the band.
This guy.
Well, not Guy. This is Rachel Thompson's review in 2018, by the way. I believe
Rachel,
the Jay-Z...
You've confused some facts.
Yeah, the Jay-Z, I think, is a reference to that time that Jay-Z remixed some of their songs and did like an EP, right?
Yes, they remixed a number of their songs. Not just him, a whole bunch of different people, but he might have been a producer on it. It was unclear, but he's not a member of... All right, what else you got?
One of the best albums of all time by far. This is from 2001. When I first heard their first single, One Step Closer, I thought that Linkin Park would be another Limp Bizkit, and then in parentheses, which I also like. I decided to let this album go and spend my money on something more original. Then I went to my cousin's house. She forced me to hear the album, and it was one of the most well-produced and well-harmonized CDs of the genre. I went home, got the album, and played the hell out of it. Papercut is perhaps one of the most catchy songs ever. But I must say, this album features one of the best songs of all time, which is entitled The End. Small editor's note, no it's not. This song blends all the band's talents and meshes them into one hell of a song. Overall, a must-buy for anyone who likes this genre, and I even recommend listening to The End and giving this group a try even if you don't like rap/rock.
Now, when she says rap/rock, does she mean rap rock or does she mean rap and or rock?
I think
rock.
and or rock.
Oh.
I don't know.
I don't
It's hard. It's impossible.
5 stars?
5 stars, yes. This is a review by Michael, who asks the question, is it distasteful to review art?
Wow.
And that's the title. This album was, and forever shall be dear to my heart. If a $5 bill could talk, it would say, find 2 singles and buy Hybrid Theory, and then get a job and buy Meteora.
This guy talks like he's in a fucking Dr. Seuss book.
No, man, he talks like he's from the 20s.
Yeah, that is true. If that $5 bill could talk, it'd say, go grab a couple of singles and get yourself a copy of Hybrid Theory. Take that, Mr. Hitler.
Yeah, but 5 out of
in the
5.
fuck?
Michael liked it.
These people are literally out driving cars.
Right now, they're driving cars right now, and in their fucking CD player is this album.
They're just jamming out to Crawling.
Here's one from 2013 entitled, Every Song on This CD is the Jam. Okay,
That's true.
I have always loved Linkin Park. Their concert is a must. I was replacing my old copies of this CD and listening to them.
Gotta have one for the tape deck, one for the CD changer, one for the multi-disc, and then you gotta have that warmer sounding vinyl copy too.
Their music is awesome. The lyrics are deep. Love, love, love them.
Wow. I disagree.
All right, I have 2 more for you here. The first one is by Mr. Funtimes.
Mr. Funtimes.
Yes, December of 2012. Great album. I love this album. I've been waiting for the price to come down forever and finally went for it. Can't wait for their other stuff to drop in price. It's so sad.
Mr. Funtimes.
I want to throw him a couple of bucks, right?
I want to get him every one of these albums. Mr. Funtimes.
This is from 2012, my favorite album from my favorite band. This album came out when I was a teenager. I've bought this CD several times and recently lost my last CD and had to buy the album again. I'll continue losing it and rebuying it because they mean that much to me.
Because I'm an insane person that likes to bring his copy in the ocean.
But yeah, his plan is in the future to lose it again.
You know that Pacific Garbage Patch is 64% Linkin Park albums?
That's probably right.
All right, so we know what the critics think. We know what you and I think. We know what the people have to say. They love it. It's not for you and I. That's clear. We're not. What did we come up with? Therapy rock? What is it?
New therapy. Anyway.
Who is this for?
This is another one, I think. It's for angry boys and young men. It's for appreciators of fine new metal, the finest new metal. And honestly, it's for anyone that's currently running on a treadmill. If you're on a treadmill and you're listening to this, you get a pass. That's fair.
I will give you a second pass. Those of you in our armed forces, we've had some downloads in Iraq and Afghanistan. I highly doubt that those are locals. First of all, thank you for downloading the show. We hope that you are enjoying it. Second of all, if you would like to listen to this as a way to get super pumped for not getting murdered, feel free. You get a total pass. If you need some fucking hard running guitar that just sounds like that dude on the bungee cords during Mad Max, like, have at it, man.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever it takes. And for that one weirdo that's listening to James Taylor, send that guy up front. He's your most effective dude. He was going to be murdering people whether or not he was wearing camouflage. So you might as well make the best of it. I completely agree, and we've belabored it, so I won't continue. It is for young men with misplaced rage. Final thoughts.
I have no real interest in this album. It's really weird at places, but not in a good or interesting way. It's just kind of repetitive. I'm kind of sad to find out that I am this out of touch with apparently everyone else in this country in the past 18 years.
Routinely, when listening to this album, I skipped ahead, only to realize I have to start over again, because that is the rule. You do not skip ahead in this game.
That's right.
Okay, Tim, not for you, not for me. After tearing down the walls that are the Castle Park, do you hate this album? Whoa. Hot and fast.
Do not care for it. Do you hate this album?
I have to say, and this might surprise you.
Uh-oh.
I hate this album like I hate cats, like I hate the homeless. I hate that they have to exist.
That's worse. That's so much worse.
No, all kidding aside. Yeah, I hate this.
Okay.
This isn't good.
Yeah.
It's not for me. It was never for me. That's not true, though. I hate this and you hate this, and this was made expressly for us.
If I had heard this at 14, I would be some sort of Parkhead right now, or Lincoln guy.
A Lincolnite? Lincoln Publian.
Yes, I would be that.
Parker Publian. Lincoln
Well,
Parker Publian.
I probably still wouldn't be, because
Parker Posey.
Okay, you've got to stop. You've got to stop. I probably still wouldn't be, because I took a hard left on that Rage Against the Machine enjoying, but...
Yeah, you had a lot of rage to focus on.
But yeah.
Yeah, okay. Not for us. Apparently for us. I hate it. You hate it. Okay, this has been Why I Hate This Album. I am one of your hosts, Garrett Harvey.
I'm Tim Richardson, your other host.
The riffs are too repetitive, the lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides and the cover art's a mess. There's so much here to tear apart. Listen to it for a week, now that we pass past. Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Garrett.